Welcome inside Ariake Gymnastics Centre on day 8 of the Paralympic Games. A day of medals ahead in Boccia. We have in this session BC 1, 2, 3 and 4 individual bronze medal finals, and to finish with a BC 4 individual gold medal match. And on court number 4 we are focusing on the individual BC 2 and 3 for bronze and the gold medal for BC 4 as well. Orawat Sangampa up first from Thailand against the Brazilian Maciel Santos. Ranked 1 and 3 in the world. Only one will leave the Games in Tokyo with a medal. Boccia is an attack and defend game over a set number of ends. The aim to score as many points as possible by placing a set of coloured balls closest to the white jack ball. And they're already preparing for this bronze medal match. 4 victories and a defeat apiece for the Brazilian and the Thai at the Games so far. A very narrow semi-final victory for Sangampa over his fellow Thai Vongsua, winning by 4-3 losing 4-3 to end up in this bronze medal match. Sangampa from Bangkok, the capital of Thailand. And a team gold medalist at the last Paralympic Games in Rio. With the red ball, as you can see, preparing for the chance to win a bronze medal. In the warm-up, only one player at a time gets to prepare. So Sangampa at this point in time. A very good group stage. 16-0 against Will Hipwell of Great Britain first up. A terrific way to start his Tokyo 2020 campaign. And the slightly older Brazilian, Santos, who also won every pool match before again narrowly losing in the last 4. 3-2 to one of the home favourites. And we are ready with the first end. 4 ends in total.
Yeah, Sangampa setting the jack for end number 1. Very shallow in the court. Be interesting first ball from him as well. But it's so shallow in the court, it's very close to the target line that they have to get over. But the positioning of that ball means the jack is pretty unsighted now for Santos, so I expect Santos to have a bit of disruption here.
Yeah, it's not only about getting as close as you can to the jack, you sometimes just have to collide with your opponent's balls and get them out of the way, and that could be the case here if he can manage with his first blue ball, the blue of Brazil in this case.
Yeah, athletes will bring their own balls to competition. They have a set of red and a set of blue balls, and they're different weights. So usually the athletes throw a softer ball in the first ball. That's a placement shot. Don't be fooled that that was a mistake. He's playing this because the plan here for Santos is to knock the jack up to that ball that he's just played. Early stages, highly tactical game this. You need the strategy of a grandmaster to win in a boccia match.
Yeah, you've always got to be playing a few balls ahead, really, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah. And with the pressure of the bronze medal at stake here, the loser of this match is perhaps it's the toughest position, I'd say, at the Olympic or Paralympic Games. So there's the knock-on, or the push-on as it's called. The jack's now free. Red's still closest, so blue will shoot first. The closest gets to sit and watch. And that's obviously a massive advantage. You want last ball in a game of boccia, as you would in curling. You want to have the hammer.
Third ball for Santos. More of a placed effort this time. Perfect.
Sangampa just moving the chair forward. The wheels cannot touch the lines around the player's box. Now, that was always going to be the case. As you say, it was not a bad shot from Santos, but left a little bit of the jack visible, so he's going to always knock that free. And as you can see now, that first ball played by Santos is the closest now to the jack. So like you say, thinking a few balls ahead.
And it's not always quick, these ends. You think 4 ends, obviously a shorter match than the team version of boccia, but there's plenty to think about for these two. And given their world rankings, as you say, they will not want to be leaving Tokyo without some form of hardware in their hand luggage.
I guess you're not talking about the hardware you find in Akihabara. They're not going back with their Nintendo Switches or their Canon cameras. They want to go back with a shiny Paralympic medal.
And an environmentally friendly one as well this year.
It's interesting what you say about time, though, because time does play a key part in the game. You have 4 minutes in BC2 to release all your balls, and as the competition's gone on, we have seen people getting very close, and in some cases going over time and losing the ability to use all of their balls.
Well, Santos is perhaps in danger of that. About to enter his final minutes.
Nice placement shot. Was able to ricochet off the closest red ball, pushing it on. It's a sort of combination of shots. It is still a placement shot, but he's done it in such a way that he's used the ricochet off the red ball to position his ball not only closest to the jack, but in a very good defensive position. Could see a little bit more power coming from Sangampa here.
Firm. No requirement yet for any of the measuring instruments from the officials. As we swap once more, Santos, who was a silver medalist at the World Championship in Beijing back in 2014 with the team event, also won bronze that year as an individual in BC2. placed again. Right up alongside the jack, though not kissing it.
It's an interesting position here because it looks like there's no clear line for Sangampa here. So he might have to use both of his remaining balls to get closest to the jack. The Brazilian very happy with that because he knows that the head is busy, the house as it would be known in curling, and he will have last ball. Is he going to try and lob this? Yeah. So he's just looped that up to the higher ball, trying to drop it either onto the jack or right next to it. It does now mean that Santos has definitely got the first point of the match, as long as he doesn't make a big mistake and move his own blue ball. But it also means he's got a chance for 2. And at this stage, very early though it is, a 2-point lead is, or can be, very critical. Tried to push on one of his balls, wasn't successful, but it will be the first point to Santos.
Yeah, it only moved slightly. So a good start for the Brazilian, who is ranked 2 places below Sangampa in the world in this classification. They are not eligible for assistance as part of their game in this category, BC2.
Quite right, and a referee asking the athletes if they wanted to come and have a look at the head, and that they decided not to. Sangampa was the one that said, no, I'm happy that it was a 1. You're right, they have no assistance here, but because of COVID, they do have assistants to come and pick up their balls here in Tokyo. It's the first time ever that that's happened, but it's not the assistance terminology that we would normally use with boccia.
For Santos, but still very early on in this final. We saw the jack was placed very closely early in the final. In the first end, a different strategy adopted this time in the second.
Yeah, he's gone mid-court. And, not bad, but probably he won't be overly happy with that one. He's got some distance between him and the jack, which means that he can push that ball on. He can hit his own ball and knock it towards the jack. But really, the key thing to be looking at here for Sangampa is how much of the jack he can see, and I'm pretty sure he can see all of it. Going to get a placement shot almost certainly here, just rolling up to the jack. If he can just keep a little bit of distance between his ball and the jack, but get it closer than the blue, he takes control of the end.
Sangampa right up beside the jack. Definitely sighted, as you say. And it did bounce away slightly, but he'll be happy with that.
Yeah, and if anything, the first ball from Santos is blocking his view, so I think we are going to get a push on here. Either that or he could try and lob it over. I think the placement, it would be very difficult for him to roll between his blue ball and the red ball closest to the jack. We wait to see. There's an inherent danger in predicting what these athletes are going to do because they've got so many options, more than you and I can think of. But he did push on.
So it is Santos who is now closer to the white jack. Sangampa lists the former Argentine footballer Diego Maradona as his sporting hero. He began playing boccia in 2010, so not too long ago.
Well, you definitely need the hand of God in this sport.
Very well done. And a hand from the caliper here, perhaps.
Yeah. It looks to me like, wow, she's measuring the two closest balls. There's no doubt the blue is closer than that second red, and it looks like the blue is closer than the closest red as well. But that blue is out in the open. Sangampa is incredibly accurate with his push shots. This will be a push off, knock the blue out the way, and then he'll be 3 up in a very good position. That's, of course, if he can execute. Close. He's got his ball closer, but I think he wanted a bit more out of that.
Yeah, he wanted to push the blue on further, didn't he?
Just landed a touch short of the blue ball, and so by the time that object ball he'd thrown came to the blue, it had already started to climb up, and in fact the blue effectively became its break.
Well, a fascinating duel so far between the Brazilian and the Thai. Santos with his third throw.
Clever, pushing the jack on and free.
Sangampa remains closest, however. Not as close. Very well done. Perhaps wanted a bit more on the red, but still closest now, the Brazilian to the jack.
And look at the angle. You're probably getting a better idea here. You come a little bit to the left of that. The jack is now barely visible to Sangampa. He's also got the security of the blue ball further up court, so if the jack's knocked on, it'll only move closer to that blue ball. Finely balanced, this one.
Well, really indicative of their rankings.
So the up and over. Was intended to roll over that blue ball and indeed the jack. So now if the jack's knocked on, the red ball is closest. It's a use of a ball in order to set up for something else. And ooh.
That's the first time that we've seen a ball leave this small triangle on the wide open court 4 here inside Ariake Gymnastics Centre. The court 6 metres by 12.5. And this facility has 6 in total. A really good light show before the start of play in this session as Sangampa went again. And this is the first time we've seen one of the players actually go and take a real close look, and that's reflective of how close this pocket of balls are around the jack.
Absolutely. His countdown clock continues to run because he's in play, but he's got plenty of time. Just inside the minute warning.
Santos on ball 5.
Oh, very nice. We'll push on there.
So on for 2 points as it stands.
And 1 ball left. Is he going to go for the stack here? A roll on top. Amazing how these athletes can develop the shots. He's just going for another placement. Didn't quite work out.
Yeah, he wanted to be in the middle, didn't he, of those 2 blues that you see up against the jack. So, advantage, well and truly, Brazil. Santos with 3 points. No points so far for Sangampa. And we are at the halfway point in this final. And a potential upset, given the world rankings of these two. Not a massive one, but a mild one if Santos is able to come through. The clock starts again, placing this time the tie. He'll need to draw on his years of experience. A 2-time gold medal winner at the World Championship in Liverpool in 2018 in the individual class and also with the team event for BC 1 and 2. Warawut Sangampa.
And the next major championships after these Paralympic Games in Tokyo will be the World Championships for Boccia in Rio de Janeiro. December 2022, mark it in your calendars, because this sport really has taken the world by storm. It's the first time Boccia's ever been shown live at the Paralympic Games, and it's obviously our great honour to be able to call it. And we've seen in the local newspapers that Japanese public have taken to it like nothing here. The Brazilians are very keen on the sport stuff, and it's a massive game in Thailand as well.
There are 2 Thais in contention for medals as part of this session. Pornchok Lapien is also in action in the final of this particular period on day 8 of the Paralympic Games. The jack edged on. Does look incredibly close.
Yeah, but his blue's slightly closer after that measure, but Wai Chun Kan did have to go and have a look at that one. Not happy because the jack's wide open there. Really feel the pressure, can't you, the world #1's experiencing here.
He needs a good end.
He definitely does, and at the moment this one's not shaping up to be that. And it's not that he's played badly. He's had 1 or 2 stray shots across the 3 ends that we've seen so far. It's just that Marcel Santos has put himself into a strong position early in both ends that we've had so far, and now an unforced error, if you like, has presented an opportunity for him in the third.
So third blue ball for Santos. Away slightly his opponent's ball and nestling up closer to the jack.
So the shot that looks the most obvious, which is almost certainly not going to be the one that Sangampa goes for, is to push on the red to the right as he looks at it. That is what he goes for, and that's the danger. He's left the jack open. Blue's still closest, so he does get to go again. He can now push the jack onto the red, but then it's out in the open again. Very good shot.
Very interesting. Went for the pace, and the power works in his favour. The jack further away from the 2 players.
Now, has he left a line open to the jack for Santos? It's very difficult to tell. You see how the skills of snooker might be an attribute here in this sport, when the head is busy, when there are a lot of balls out there, and you're trying to find a path through. Looks like there is a path through there.
Ah, just didn't quite turn out as he would have wanted. He did have sight, but not the shots he wanted to execute.
Bit of thinking time here. Is he going to try and do the same again? He was having a think about his options, but he's going for the same shot, and he's pulled up short. Big opportunity here for Sangampa to get right back into this.
Yeah, Sangampa already closest, so he's won 1 point for sure. He has 2 balls remaining. Well, 1 point if he doesn't obviously mess it up. But
Yeah,
he won't,
exactly,
I'm
yeah.
sure after Santos plays this one.
So he's played a block, he's played a guard there. He knows he's not going to get points in this end, as you said. So he's just spoiling it a little bit, but it's part of the game. You know, it's the same as snooker. You try and tuck up your opponent so that they can't hit the object ball, and that's exactly what Santos has done here. Completely a correct tactic, and Sangampa knew that was coming. So, lob over the top, perhaps. We've seen him execute a lob before. There it is.
Really stylish.
I expect another one here. Very much dependent on what ball he's got left.
But it could be a real turnaround to set up a fascinating final end.
So what has he got left? He might elect. No, he's going to go for it. Could have elected to say, do you know what, I'm going to leave my last ball on the ground. He's said to himself, no, let's try. Let's take the risk and try and get a 3.
Ah, very, very well done. So back in it, well and truly, Warawat Sangampa, trailing 3-0 at the start of this third end, and now back level to head into the final end. That was a really good end of Boccia. Well, really good for Sangampa.
It's been a great game, and that the risk that Sangampa was taking on that last shot was because he was playing with one of the harder balls, which tends to have a bit more roll in it. It won't stick when you plant it on the ground with a lob, but he played it with a bit of backspin, and that's what gave him that 3rd point. Brilliant game.
All square with a Tokyo 2020 medal on the line. And just a moment or two for the players to set up for the final end, as we see some of the best moments of end 3. Santos to place. Yeah, down the right again. deeper into the court. Every one of these balls is going to be so important.
Well, exactly the same as you did in the second end. Rolling up and leaving a bit of gap. Less of a gap this time than in the second end. But the jack is in sight of Sangampa. So will we see a placement, or will we see something different from Sangampa this time? He played a placement in the second end, only for Santos to play a lob over the top to put his second ball beyond the jack and then knock it on. But let's not forget, Sangampa won that second end 2-0. Oh, okay, that's something different. He's attempted the jack out there, getting the jack out of the field of play. So it's then put on the repositioned onto the cross in the centre of the court. You can just see there in the penalty box.
Perhaps backing himself as the more accurate player. Though only one of these two knows what it's like to win an individual gold at the Games. Maciel Santos of Brazil. Wonder if he'll try the same again. Do you think?
He's had to think about it, hasn't he? I think he might do, or he might play a placement shot here, and then it burns one of Santos's balls because he needs to. Well, he'll have to push it out himself. Interesting. He has tried to place it, just gone past.
But not all too useless, because of course if the jack gets pushed on, his ball there is not in a bad position to be close to it.
Yes, we're seeing a completely different tactic here from the pair of them. Santos now has got to think cleverly about this, because if he places the ball and plays the traditional way, if you like, the orthodox way, and tries to get closest to the jack, then you've got to bet that Sangampa's going to come out and smash the jack out of play. And basically all the balls that have been played up to that point are completely useless. They've gone out of the game.
Well, that's the danger throughout this end, because with just a couple of balls to go, you could do that, and then it comes down to a one-ball shootout, doesn't it?
Exactly. And who's going to have last ball?
Yeah, he did go for the conventional shot. He didn't look too happy with that, though. Santos. Third red ball for Sangampa. Don't forget, one of his reds is off the court.
Very cat and mouse here. This is, as you say, this is all about having the last ball now.
Well, there was only 1 point in it for both in their semi-finals that they lost. Santos beaten 3-2, Sangampa defeated 4-3. You feel it could be the same margin to decide this bronze medal. Still the blue closest. Fourth red ball for Sangampa in end 4.
And it needs to be a very accurate one as well. This is looking a little bit painful now. He needs to hit that jack on. He needs to push the jack on. Now, the problem here is that if he's successful now and pushes the jack on, you've got to fancy that the Brazilian will push the jack out of play. And that will leave Sangampa with just one ball left. He's rolled up to it. Clever change of tactics there. Not pushing on, electing to defend.
And it kind of blocks Santos as well, although he can probably still just about see it.
Yeah, and you can see it, but it's not going to go out of play, is it? It's going to come towards
It's going to go nearer to the Reds, yeah.
It's a really cunning piece of play. He's come from behind, huge amounts of pressure on him. And he set this bronze medal match up for a thrilling climax.
Santos 3 up at one point in this final. Under pressure now.
Jack's free. Oh, this just keeps getting better and better. Look, red's still closest, but the jack is now free. And look at the Brazilian's remaining balls. He's got more left, and he's in a dominant position. Placement here, up to the jack. Force Sangampa to come out with his last ball. Advantage to the Brazilian for sure now.
Is to lose. Maciel Santos. As we see again, that really cunning effort. Not touching the jack, but certainly closest, and with just the final ball to go for Sangampa, he needs to do something incredibly special here.
Yeah, toughest shot of the lot, a cut. He's got to hit the side of the jack and knock it on to the 3 red balls. And even that, even if he's successful with that, it's still advantage to Santos.
Yeah, he's got 2 balls left.
Oh, he's made it, he's made it. What a shot that was. What a shot, Sangampa. That's why he's the world #1. That is a cracking effort. An absolutely brilliant end to this match. Santos has balls remaining here. A 1-1 is not enough here. So Santos has either got to use the first ball to jack out, or he's just got to get it right up and not move the jack on to the Reds any further.
Well, yeah, because if you want to take the jack out, it's got to be with this shot, hasn't it, to then get right up to it.
Absolutely.
Although actually, I suppose, if you look at the court, the blue of Santos is nearer to the centre, so he could still do that in the second one, but he probably wouldn't want to do that.
That's a good point. Going for a bit of power here. There's some welly in this one. Oh, no, now. That is not what he wanted. He's put a guard. He's put his own ball out as a guard there. That wasn't the intention at all. Just angled this wrong.
He's got to take it out now in this last shot, surely, because then his blue would be nearest.
If he can get to it.
It has to be bang on. Yeah, this is a really brilliant end to this battle for the bronze medal.
"20 seconds left on the clock. This is brilliant." It's rolled up and he's pushed on. He's pushed that on. We need to see the head. We need to see. He's closest. He's got it. He's got the bronze medal here at the Paralympic Games.
Delight for Santos in Tokyo. It came down to the final ball, knocking on his own blue there, as you see, to nestle up alongside the jack. And that means he gets that crucial point. Celebration from the Brazilians who are here to support their teammate. And it looks like the gold medal winner at London 2012 in individual BC2 will be adding a bronze to his trophy and medal cabinet. A terrific end to the fourth end, the decisive end in this duel between Sangampa, the #1 in the world, and Santos, #3. Disappointment for the tie, but delight for Santos as he ends his campaign in the Japanese capital victorious in the form of a bronze medal. And he won't have to wait long either to get the medal, because that will be taking place today, the ceremony. Another 4-3 defeat for Sangampa, beaten by the same margin in the semi-finals by Vongsua, his compatriot. And you can see just how much it means to the 35-year-old. The last time he won a major medal at either the Paralympic Games or the World Championships was in 2014. But now he is back among those that get onto the podium at these great games. And good for him. There are just a few of his countrymen and women inside the Ariake Gymnastics Centre to show their appreciation.
near that. Let's put Skippy up here. They might tell you to go away.
Hello from Ariake Gymnastics Centre. Very good to have your company on day 8 of the Paralympic Games. There are medals on the line in Boccia. Next in this session, a BC3 bronze matchup between Scott McCowan of Great Britain and Australia's Daniel Michel. Michel defeated by Pesca, the Czech, in the semi-finals. McCowan also losing in a battle with Greece for Great Britain. Boccia requires tremendous accuracy and concentration. Unique, this one. As a sport, only one of 2 on the Paralympic programme without an Olympic counterpart. A few members of the wider Australia and Great Britain Paralympic party inside this bespoke, brand new arena to support McCowan and Michel. They're just getting ready for the first of 4 ends. 6 balls each. Michel of Australia will be playing, as we can see, with red balls. So blue for the Briton. McCowan. A very good group stage for him. 7-1, 6-1 and 4-3 victories. A storming victory in the quarterfinals and then a very narrow defeat in the last 4. Despite that disappointment, though, for the 30-year-old from Prestwick in Great Britain, he still has a chance to leave Tokyo with a medal in his hand luggage. Michel losing one of his matches in the group stage. Only just, though, 3-2 after a 9-0 opening success. Also narrowly defeated in the semi-final stage. You can see the pointers that are used in this event. And in BC3, the Boccia para-athletes are assisted too. We had a tremendous opening match in this session, with gold going to Maciel Santos of Brazil in the BC2 mixed individual final for bronze. What do we have in store here in this one, the BC3 mixed individual bronze medal match?
Yeah, BC3, the athletes with the most severe impairments, unable to use hands or feet to throw the ball, use the ramp, as we can see, and have a pointer which they can use their hand to operate, or mouth, as we'll see in the case of Michel, or head, as we've got here with Scott McCowan. So worth a mention of the Paralympic mascot, which we're seeing at the beginning of all of the matches here on court 4, Samaiti, from the tactile cherry blossom, and that's a demonstration of enormous mental and physical strength. And then there's also a link to not only the cherry blossom, but also the might, the power. So nothing is impossible for Samaiti. But yesterday, here at the Paralympic Games, on day 7 it was, I think, they were playing a little game of, have you heard of the Naughty Elf at Christmas? Naughty Elf that appears, you know, in a bag of flour or hanging out of the toilet cistern. That's what Samaiti was playing yesterday. I think she might be doing a bit more of that today.
Well, the organisers at the venues for Tokyo 2020 do try and replicate so-called normal times when we would have a full arena. This is in the northern part of Tokyo's Ariake district, the gymnastics center. We have some really good lights displays before the events at Tokyo 2020. So here we go. And it will be Michelle, who's ranked 4 in the world, to get us going. McCowan's current position on the global stage is 29, but that's perhaps not really indicative of his ability as a boccia athlete. Very deep with the placement of the jack by Michelle.
Yeah, just getting a look now at the setup there. There's the jack. We were waiting to see that. Of course, we were looking at Ash McClure, Daniel Michel's assistant, who can't look at the field of play. She can only take instruction about setting up the angle of the ramp, the aim of the ramp, and which ball Daniel Michel wants to use. So first ball.
Come on, baby!
And it's very close. Real precision from Michelle. Right up against the jack. So what will McCowan offer in response? They live and breathe boccia in this family, the McCowans. His younger brother Jamie has also competed at international level, representing Great Britain in the BC3 class. And it's gone long from Scott McCowan. His response, which means he will have a go. Again. It's a real festival of medals today inside the gymnastics centre, with numerous bronze medal matches. And the BC4 gold medal match too, right at the end, between Andrejczyk and Lapien of Thailand, facing the Slovakian. Still plenty of time on the clock for these two. McCowan still furthest away from the jack, having played his second ball. Yeah, it was really interesting to see that Scott McCowan played Jamie here in his first pool match. 7-1, winning the family bragging rights.
Well, you're right. You say it's a family affair. Mother of Scott and Jamie is Jamie's assistant. So that would have been an interesting court to be on that day.
Much better from the Briton. Still in play, though.
Yeah, so he looks like he's put up a guard first, and then he's played this one short, and he'll try and push on the blue ball closest to the jack and effectively have two guards then blocking Daniel Michel's view of the jack. Hard ball being used here.
Oh, yes. Really well done. And that will require the caliper, but probably still the red closest just by a millimetre or two.
I think so. I think you're on the money there, yeah. I think he probably wanted to hit this a little truer. Because it's a softer ball he's hitting, maybe he just needed that extra power and sort of sacrificed the ball. But you're right, the calipers have come out. But I'm with you, I think that red is just ever so slightly closer. I've been wrong before in the commentary box. Parallax error does play its part here. It is blue to play.
So fourth ball for Scott McCowan. He managed to come fifth in the pairs BC3 event at London 2012. Over time, working his way through the ranking upwards and at events too. Took up Boccia, aged 15, over a decade ago.
Rolled that one right through and off the back. That wasn't what Scott McCowan was looking for, and you can see the grimace on his face. It's forced another measure. I think he cleared everything here. We'll get another look at it. Yeah, that's why the measures there just brushed both the blue and the jack, but I don't think he dislodged them. The jack is so heavy, and a little brush like that's not going to make too much of a difference. So, changing tactics, going for something a little different.
Might he consider rolling the red away? Has he got sight of it?
It does look like he has. It's hard to call it from here. Very difficult to see it from here. He's going to hit his own ball there. So he's put up a defensive guard.
Is he maybe trying to limit the damage, perhaps, with the extra balls?
I think you
Michel
hit the nail on the head there.
There's still 3 more ends after this one,
that's
you
true.
don't want to be 4-0 down, do you?
Yeah, totally spot on. And the thing here is that, of course, the BC3s, for obvious reason, can't lob the ball. It has to come down the ramp. It does look like there is a little bit of sight of the red, so that means that the blue closest to the jack is also in play. So we could see a roll up and over. That's possible to increase the number of points.
Michel getting closer with another red ball to the jack.
Well, we said that there was that possibility of the sighting of the blue and it's just played off it. It does look closer as well. Get confirmation here, but I think this is going to be 2. It is 2 red.
Michel made his debut for Australia in 2013. Also taking up the sport at a similar age to his opponent in this bronze final.
Confidence he's playing with here to roll that one up short. He's going to go for a ricochet here off the ball he's just played. This could put the Australian in a commanding position here. That defence that Scott McCowan put up earlier on, may prove his undoing, certainly in this end. Oh, didn't get the touch, but has rolled it up with absolute perfection. They called that as 2 still. He's come up to have a look at this. Now, is that closer than the blue? No, it's not, is it? Oh, crikey, I don't know.
No, it's very hard to tell here from our high vantage point. Tense moment for McCowan and Michel. The clock's still going as well for the Australian.
Yeah, and now the ramp has to be moved. So watch that. If we get to see it, Ash McClure will slide the ramp left and right. But in fact, Michel has decided not to throw down the last 2 balls and settle for what looks like 3 points. And Scott McCowan comes down to have a look. And I like the style of Chikako Okada, the referee. She knows that the back of her head is going to be in shot quite a lot, and she's got a hair clip that's the Olympic rings, it looks like.
Yeah, I think so. Not unplanned, I'm sure.
Crucial measure here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Could be a massive start for the Australian.
Fine margins at the Paralympic Games.
That's 2 for sure.
Yeah. Maybe just the 2?
I think this is 3, you know. It's so close, like you say, the angle that we're at is very difficult. And the overhead camera is not directly over the head of the referee. Just going to have another check. We might have the lead referee come out here to have a second opinion.
Well, look, there's a bronze medal on the line, so it needs to be
yes,
absolutely bang on.
It's only a bronze medal. That's what these 2 live and breathe for, isn't it?
Well, we had a really fast-paced bronze medal match prior to this one in a different classification. You sense already this could be a very tense affair. Though if Michelle can get 3, that's a big start, isn't it, from one end?
Yeah, and that's why they're taking such care over this measure. The Aussies there looking on. There's very few people have the privilege of watching the live sport here at the Paralympic Games, and those that have been given the chance are the Boccia delegates and teams here who've come to watch the first medal day here in the Ariake Gymnastics Centre. Everyone following very strict protocols here, regular testing, staying in bubbles. We in the broadcast team aren't able to get anywhere near the field of play. And as normal, in normal times we would meet the athletes, talk to the coaches. Not here in Tokyo.
This is not being rushed whatsoever. We can say with a degree of certainty that Daniel Michel of Australia will be going into N2 2 up, but it's a question of whether he will be in command by an extra point. That's what's at stake here. I mean, it might even be not a millimetre, but a fraction of a millimetre.
Yeah, this is so tight, isn't it? That athletes looking on. A lot of pressure on the referee here. I would not be surprised if she calls the lead referee out for a second opinion here.
You can hear a pin drop and a caliper click. All quiet inside Ariake Gymnastics Centre. It's known for precision boccia on the part of the athletes. Precision required too from the officials, and I think you are right. I think we are going to get a second opinion on this. And we will then learn finally if the advantage is 3 or 2. For Daniel Michel, ranked 4 in the world. And are we getting closer now to a call that will finally settle this situation at the end of end 1? A reminder that the para-athletes have 4 ends in total. And we could be in for the long haul if this one is anything to go by.
Looks that way. Certainly looks that way. Right, looks like we have the decision.
It is 3. Wow, what a start for Daniel Michel. And already a lot to do for Scott McCowan. The assistants as the Australians and the British watch on, getting the balls back for the para-athletes. McCowan getting ready to begin end number 2. And I wonder if we will see the jack placed closer to the throwing box this time, as opposed to quite far down towards the end line.
Yeah, certainly the jack is critical to the tactics played by the athletes. Looks like he's going for potentially mid-court here.
Not a million miles away from the sideline. So 6 minutes the athletes get to distribute all of their balls. And the cheering intermittently that you can hear is from a neighbouring court, number 3, just in case you're wondering. And that is a bronze medal match in BC1 at the moment that Andre Ramos of Portugal is winning against Jose Oliveira, his Brazilian rival. Oliveira was someone that Michel played actually in the group stage. That was a narrow affair. 3-2, Oliveira taking it against the Australian, who we see against Great Britain's Scott McCowan at the moment. That's much better from McCowan. Not as close as he would have liked up against the jack, but clearly that was an important ball after the disappointment of the first end.
Yeah, absolutely. And whilst you're right, it's a little bit further away from the jack. The critical thing about that shot was that it is hiding, obscuring most of the jack from Michel. So Michel could elect here to go for power, disrupt, open up the jack, or could play up and behind it, going around the blue. The ramp being built up high by Hashim Cure suggests we're going to have a power shot here.
Yeah.
The trick here and the skill of these athletes. Beautiful power shot. Not quite enough, but it's opened up the jack. Sacrificed the first ball. That's what he wanted to do. But the skill here with the pointer is just to push the ball off the ledge of the ramp without affecting it in terms of spin, both pushing it too high up the ball to create top spin, or left or right to create side spin. When they're looking at that power shot, they really are looking to aim it like a dart straight at their target.
I mean, it's the same sport, isn't it, as the other classifications, but so different in that regard.
And the tactics that are involved in play are different as well. I mean, like you say, the rules are all the same. It's the tactical play. The chess strategy is different. So it looks like he's going to play more of a delicate shot here.
Yeah, touched ever so carefully, and carefully almost up against the jack, a millimetre or two away, but a really well-intended place from the Australian.
Finely balanced here as well, because remember we're talking about this sport. Probably the easiest way to look at it is the jack clear? Is the jack? Can you see the jack? Can the player in place here? And then the second thing is, how many balls have they got left, and can they have last ball? So you might see shots that you go, well, that's not a great shot, is it? But they're actually setting up. It's not sacrificial. Sacrificial is when they play a ball out of play after a ricochet to disrupt, but they're setting things up for later on. We see power here, so a bit more of a traditional tactic, but it does mean that because the blue ball was a little bit deeper than the red, knocking on the jack means the blue is now closer, so Scott has only used one ball. Still finely balanced though, so we could see potentially a push on or a roll up and over, but on the blue. The push on will be on the red.
Michel has already vastly improved compared to his last Olympic and Paralympic appearance. In the Games in Rio in 2016, he came 15th in the individual BC3. So a very much improved Paralympic Games.
Yeah, and did play the push on here. I mean, he is just a much better player now. He's been great here in the Ariake Gymnastics Centre, playing some unorthodox tactics as well, playing across his opponents sometimes, which you tend to see more in BC3 than you do the other categories because of the allowance for the ramp to be in your opponent's box, or the end of the ramp to be in your opponent's box. It's easier to play across the court. And it surprised a few people. 6 minutes of thinking time, very much needed in this one.
Third ball for McCowan.
Well, clever. Tried. There was a chance for two, having two up there. A roll up and over. Collected his ball and had a chance. If he kept that harder ball in play, he would have been potentially on for two. But again, just using the one ball. It's tight, but you've got to say the advantage is with the Brit here in this second end.
The Australian has sight of the blue ball that is in play from his British rival. Not power this time, by the looks of it. Oh, they are building up the ramp, so maybe he is going to go for it.
It's always difficult to know what they're going to do until you see that ramp going up high, but it's quite a shallow decline. It's not as steep as it has been, so maybe this is an up and over from him as well. It's going at pace, just knocking the blue out of the way, just cutting it out of the way to give sight of the jack now to Daniel Michel. Just clipping it out of the way. It's a heavier ball, so he's played that nicely.
It's caliper time.
I think the blue is closer, but makes for fairly simple tactics here. Either hit the blue out of the way for three, as things stand, or shore up to the play a placement shot to the jack. And this is where we find out this it's the blue that's close. It's red in play. Red in play. So I think we might see a placement shot here. He's having a real think about it because there are some options. He could even play a ricochet off the closest red.
But is it a waste of a ball if you try and take the blue ball out? Because inevitably you might push your own red ball too far away as well, that particular ball.
And the other thing is you leave the jack open.
Yeah.
So he might play a push on off the closer red, pushing that ball closer to the jack, making him closest to the jack, and leaving the ball he's about to deliver up as a guard to defend the jack. We're about to find out. So many different options.
Yeah, you're right. He went for the push on.
Hit the other ball though, so jack is still open. But yeah, it was the push on he decided to go for. And you know what? Maybe that is what he intended, because he's knocked that other red, not quite beyond, but alongside the jack. So he's thinking ahead. He's thinking about what's going to happen now. Placement or power.
Well, if McCowan can get this fourth blue ball really close to the jack, he could then... Oh no, that wasn't intended. I was going to say he could have then used his fifth ball to basically just block the final ball from Michel. But he'll be disappointed with that play.
Maybe he was looking to jack out there and he just missed the jack.
The penultimate ball of this second end. Scott McCowan trailing Daniel Michel 3-0 at present. It's 7-2 meanwhile on the adjoining court, with the loud support of the Brazilians for Oliveira, who is up against his Portuguese rival. Just in case you're wondering where the noise is coming from, and that's not a bad way to play in his fifth ball. Scott McCowan, closest to the jack. Michel's last ball of the end, as he has 30 seconds to go to take the shot at the jack, or wherever he chooses.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, this, because Scott McCowan's going to have last ball here. The placement of this ball is very critical. He's looked to push on and defend the jack here. So he's got closest ball now. So now I think we can expect a power shot from...
Yeah, because look at that blue ball on its own. If you can get the jack closest to that, you're not going to get much more than a point. But
no, but it's better,
than losing more, obviously.
Yeah. So ramp being built up by his father. Gary McCowan on duty here, and I'm sure that mum and brother will be somewhere in the arena. There is a clutch of the GB team. He's just knocked on one out of the way. So the red looks closer.
I think he'll know. He's taking a look at it and quickly manoeuvring back to the throwing box. He knew anyway. So, at the end of the second end, it is now 4-0 to Daniel Michel of Australia against the Briton Scott McCowan. Closer this time, this end, but not the end that the lower ranked player would have wanted. Very much advantage to Michel. Michel readying himself for the third of the 4 ends. He says up until now, the best moment for him in his career was winning gold at the World Open a couple of years ago in Hong Kong, China. He would love to leave Tokyo a medalist, as he's cheered on by a few Australians within the crowd. A big end for McCowan, this one.
Massive, yeah. Played deep again by Michel. Worked out for him last time. It's going past, or not quite past, but I don't think he's managed to obscure any of the jack this time, and I wonder if Scott McCowan might play this jack out, knock this jack out to change the position, level the playing field a bit. Potentially just to get on the scoreboard and lift some confidence.
And he is further away, isn't he?
Yeah.
On the right side of the throwing box, as we look at it from behind. So he's not only further away, he's effectively playing really cross-court because the jack is so close to the sideline. Yeah, it's been built up, his ramp, so with the heavy ball as well, I think. So he probably is going to try and take out the jack.
We'll have to find out. Comes down. He's played a guard. Now, I don't think that is blocking the jack at all from Michel, but he's definitely not closer, so he'll go again.
This is the thing in boccia. Sometimes you can wrongly assume that a shot has been incorrectly played, but he'll know what he's doing.
Yeah, and I think he played this one up. Not as short as that one, but he won't. I think he's going to use a third ball here on this go. Let's see, he's placing. No, he has placed it up. Now, is that close? It's just a little closer. Another one, but doesn't require the calipers this time. So, options. Ricochet off his own red, potentially, Michelle. If he's got sight of the blue, he could roll up and over. He's already made his mind up.
The pointer being extended by McCowan's assistant. And yes, you were right.
Come on, baby.
But the blue's still closest, but he's got a better sight now of the jack. So the play has at least led to something useful. Third ball for Daniel Michel. He needed plenty of patience against Pesca in the semi-final, which he agonisingly lost 4-3. It might be that he has a bit of daylight going into the final end. Needing the pointer extended a little bit further for the third ball. Precision. Look at that for a shot.
Yeah, very good. And now the accuracy required. It looks very open there, but trust me, down on the field of play, that is a very tight bunch. The only real option for Scott McCowan here in this end, and indeed in this match, is to come off his own blue ball and ricochet into the jack, trying to push the jack, in fact, a little bit away from the red, as well as using his object ball to get closer to it. There is Mum Linda in the crowd, watching on.
Opponent, though.
A former opponent. I'm pretty sure his mum's going to be cheering him on for this bronze
You'd like
medal.
to think so.
Yeah, I think his brother will be as well. I didn't quite spot him in the crowd, but I'm sure he's down there.
All is well now. Height with the ramp. McCowan's third ball.
Well, played with power, tried to dislodge the red. Wow, this is nervy times for Scott McCowan here. He's got to go again.
In many ways, he's made it harder for himself.
Yeah, it's a tough ask here for the British athlete. He can't really see his blue anymore, so, and he can't see all of the red, so it's not like he can knock the red out of play. Up and over, perhaps, trying to sort of mount the red and the blue at the same time and go over the top of them. It's a very delicate shot. Very precise. Coming down with power again. And pushes the jack on.
Still one of the reds of McCowan closest to the target ball.
Now, does he come down and try and get... Oh, it's very, very tight here. Maybe he can see the red closest to the jack, and he can ricochet off that and take it out of play. Remember, all it has to do is touch the line for the red to be out. So if he can get up on the right-hand side of the red closest to the jack as he looks at it, he could potentially get himself onto the jack and make it an extremely tricky with that guard he played earlier on, blocking the line for Michel.
All part of the plan. Well, he is in a unique position, Scott McCowan, in being able to have both of his parents here at the Paralympic Games.
Oh dear.
Well, Michel will be quietly confident now, I think.
There's only one thing to do here, and that's to push on the blue, and then the object ball that he's going to throw down now will become a second guard. It's a tactic that can only give him 1 point, but of course Michel is going to have last ball.
And then really you need an absolutely stellar final end. So it's a tall order for Scott McCowan.
Yeah. Again, it's a game here in the Boccia tournament where the first end makes a real difference. Not enough. So it's currently at least one for Michel, and he's played a defensive line there, trying to minimize the damage. Now will Michel just go up and over these to score extra points?
Yeah, and he can touch one of his reds on, but it might be a bit of a risk to do that. The one that's closest to the jack, because he's in a position where the red of his closest to the jack is also really close to the sideline.
Oh. Skill and precision and execution to be able to deliver that is absolutely incredible. So what was a possible 2 is now a possible 3, and there's more to come from the Australian.
Yeah, I think it is 3 already. Looking from high in the sky.
It does look that way. It will certainly be measured.
Michel might even feel after this one he doesn't need to play in his final ball if he's satisfied with what he's been able to do. Yeah, I think he's doing that. He's not going to opt to play the final ball.
You're right. And now the athletes are called up. Scott McCowan going in for the measure. Daniel Michel deciding to stay at the back. He's confident that he's got at least 2. We think possibly 3. He's come down to have a look now.
either way, 6 or 7-0. It's a really comfortable lead, to say the least, to go into the final end.
Yeah, I mean, mathematically, it's well, 7's not possible, but 6 mathematically is, but unlikely because it's a pretty simple tactic for the person defending that lead. Just take out the player's balls.
First time we've seen the tape measure in this match.
Yeah. Sometimes you think it's harder to measure the closer balls, but actually I think it's even more difficult to measure the long ones, because this is not just any old tape measure. This is a special Boccia tape measure with an elevated end that touches the ball, and it's that wobbles.
2 was that, I think we saw. It was very quick from our official.
Well, she will come out and give the full confirmation now.
Yeah, so 6-0 after 3 ends, and Daniel Michel well and truly on the way to claiming a bronze medal in this BC 3 bronze medal final. A dominant display from the Australian. Is well and truly to lose. I think it would be unprecedented, actually, if this was turned around.
Got to try. He's got to give it all that he can here. Scott McCown. Looks like he's going to play this a little deeper into the court. A bit further away from the edge, potentially. Going to try something a little different here. Potentially, he could roll up a very shallow guard. But it's a risky shot, that's for sure, because you'd have to absolutely block 100% of the line for the jack. He's playing a steep ramp, so I don't think he is going to go for that.
And there's always the option for Michel to just blast that ball away anyway, because we're so early on in the end.
This is so true, and looks like he's going for a placement beyond. He has gone beyond the jack.
Yeah, so maybe he's thinking he can build up almost a wall or a small line of blue balls potentially, and then as the jack eventually gets moved on, he might be in a position to have a collection around the target ball.
Yep. And while we were looking at that and considering that, you see the ramp being moved there from side to side. What Daniel Michel was doing there was measuring the length that the ball was. So he's gone up to it. He's tried to get level with the ball. He's looked at it. He says, not quite level. Moved forward a tiny bit more, found where the level point is, and then turned back to his shooting box and headed straight there, calculating the distance, knowing what size ramp and angle that he needs to go for here to roll up what's likely to be a placement shot of his own. The ramp moving side to side, because when you're down the other end of the field of play, you can look at your ramp and see if it's pointing in the right direction. So you get a little bit of an advantage. So one of the quirky rules of Boccia is that the assistant then moves the ramp left to right, so it's definitely being set from the shooting end.
It's like lining up your putt in golf with a bit of loose foliage on the ground.
I think you play a little bit more golf than me. I sometimes I'm already frustrated before I get to the green and the ball's back in the bag if it's not in the lake.
No, the clue was in the word foliage. But evident really that Michel is still taking this end really seriously in preparing in such a manner, because he would be forgiven for being a little bit confident, because of course he is 6-0 up at the moment on his opponent from Great Britain.
Yeah, big ask for Scott McCown.
I think in all honesty, he'll just be thinking, right, how can I get through this end and try and score as many points as possible to leave this final with points on the board.
Yes, and the agony for him will come if Daniel Michel pushes a ball past the jack. Because all Scott McCown can hope for here is that he gets all of his balls closer to the jack than any of the reds. So that would in fact give him the win. But should Daniel Michel get one behind the jack, that then becomes an impossibility. Not a complete impossibility, because he could knock that ball out, but looking at the setup already, I think that's what Michel's going to be thinking about.
And he can do it at any time.
Exactly.
He's still got 5 balls remaining. This is second in total. Well, Australia already have a total of 54 medals at the Tokyo Paralympic Games. 20 bronze medals, as Michel is on course to make that 21 and 55 overall. The Aussies at the moment 8th in the standings. Great Britain up in second with 29 gold medals all in all, and 80 made up of either gold, silver or bronze. So So it remains the case that Scott McCowan, with one of his blue balls in this final end, is closest to the jack. Which means the fourth red ball of Australia's Michel about to be deployed.
He's looking very calm. He knows what he's doing here. So he talked about the wall that Scott McCowan could potentially build, and it's actually the Australian who's put up a great barrier. Sealed off all sight to the jack.
You can only add to it now as well.
I'm wondering if he can see the blue behind the jack. It's difficult from the angle we're looking at. We're looking so diagonally cross court. You're right, he's just added to the barrier. It's getting greater.
And the risk, of course, from Scott McCowan's perspective is if he plays to try and knock some of those reds away, he might actually just end up knocking them on closer to the jack when it's his turn after this final red ball from Australia's Michel.
Now, that for me was potentially the critical ball. He wanted to create a block for Scott McCowan on the left-hand side. He wanted this to clip that and bounce off and stay just to the left. As we look at it, he wanted it to stop earlier to block the line through to the blue ball at the back here. Just doing a measure here, but that red does look further away than the blue. This is a critical measure here. It's closer. It is closer. So, one blue, 5 balls remaining. These have got to be absolutely spot on. He must get all of these balls closer to the jack. Look at the nerves on the British contingent here in the crowd. He's got a chance of saving this.
It would be a remarkable turnaround if Scott McCowan can pull it off. He's going to have to go surely wide right of the red blockade.
I don't know whether he's going that way or the other side. It's hard to know. He's going up and over. Oh no, oh dear. Now he has to get that red out of the way.
Yeah, because that red, is that the only red that's closest? Yeah, but it needs to be removed with the blue ball staying around the vicinity of the jack too. No mean feat.
Still in with a chance. He's still in with a chance here, Scott McCowan.
Worth looking at the clock as well. That is fast ticking down.
Very good point.
It's going to have to be quick.
Right. Pushed one on.
But still only 1 point.
Yep.
Because that red is closest after the blue that's right by the jack.
This is going to come down to the wire here. Scott McCowan with his back against the wall.
It's just too hard, I think, to see that red being moved away. I just can't see how it's possible.
While he's got balls in play, anything. Well, that now has put this to bed. Daniel Michel on the brink here of claiming a Paralympic medal. He's going to keep trying.
So the final blue ball of Great Britain, the blue ball of Scott McCowan in this Boccia bronze final. And we are in no doubt, of course, that the bronze medal will be heading from Asia to Australasia and secured by Scott McCowan's rival, Daniel Michel. Daniel Michel, whose previous best at a Paralympic Games individually, 15th in Rio. He is now the third best at the Games. He is a bronze medal winner and a very dominant display in the end, defeating Scott McCowan 6-0, and that is subject to slight alteration, 6-1 in the end. So the point at least for the Briton to leave the Ariake Gymnastics Centre for the final time at this Games. But what a performance from the Australian, who takes a medal.
good idea.
Whatever one was taken.
Oh, we just somebody's. Oh, no, Derek. No.
Lindsay, right, just make sure there's one with you.
Oh, there.
No offence. Thanks, Lindsay. No worries. I've asked him to go read it, mate, because that's my fault. That's all right. Oh, awesome. I've got to find out since they... How long since we've been on. Yeah. Thank you so much. ありがとうございました。Thank you very much. We've been like in lockdown for like 18 months together in the same house.
This is day 8 of the Paralympic Games, and from Ariake Gymnastics Centre, an individual mixed gold medal final in Boccia. Slovakia's Samuel Ondrejčík in action against Thailand's Pornchok Lapien. The bronze medal already secured by Zheng of China. So for the European and the Asian contender, a really important moment. Silver, the worst case scenario, but a gold on the line. And as you can see, Lapien undefeated in Tokyo with 5 victories in the individual BC4 event. During this session at the Ariake Gymnastics Centre, we have had some terrific encounters already. These two so close as well in the world rankings at the moment. Ondrejčík, who is having a warm-up now, as you can see. He is number 6 in the world at present. Lapien ranked 7th. Javier Alvarez, the referee, for this final match of the BC4 event. A defeat among the group matches for Ondrejčík against the man he will try and beat for the first time in Tokyo for gold. You wonder what an edge that will be in the mental stakes between these two. Lapien conceding only 3 points in the group stage, and then relatively comfortably winning 6-3 in the quarters and the semis. Lapien did win a silver medal in this event at Rio at the last Paralympic Games. Ondrejčík taking the silver medal in Brazil. No massive surprise that these two then are in contention right down to the wire for this very special Paralympic Games. Very different Paralympic Games. They'll be aware that their fan base are not here, but will be watching on from back home in Thailand, fairly close to Japan, and Slovakia in the east in Europe. And all eyes on this final inside the gymnastics centre. No action on the adjoining courts.
Sat Jack mid-court here, who's seen in this gymnastics centre in the sport hub of Ariake, the Ariake district of Tokyo, that if you can get a 2 or 3 point lead in the first end, you're very much in control of the match.
These ends comprising of 4 minutes each for the para-athletes to get away their 6 balls. Lapien playing with blue to match his distinct Thai jersey. Red for Slovakia too. Uniformity.
BC4, the newest of the categories in Boccia. As the World Federation, who have embraced these Paralympic Games fantastically, really enjoying the fact that there's live coverage of the sport for the first time at the Paralympic Games. They've opened the sport up to athletes with an impairment of a non-cerebral origin. So BC4 is a category for athletes who have an impairment that impacts on their strength and or their coordination.
Very well placed, but it looks as though the red's still closest. So it will be a third blue ball for La Pienne, who, with the clock still ticking down, has decided to go and take a look up close to see what he will do next. It's been a quite quick start to this first end. La Pienne really almost forced to play cross-court following the placement of the jack. So a changeover now with the Thai finalist closest to the jack.
Ondrejczyk going for power. Sacrificed that ball, knocked the jack clear, and may well be looking. Well, he's got the option to push on off the red still in play, or a lob. He's asked to come and have a look.
Yeah, the red already appears to be ahead of 2 of the 3 blues, which is obviously good news. So maybe he will go for the lob.
Could do, and the other thing is, I think that's quite a soft ball that he's played at that first one. It would have been a soft ball, a placement one. So yeah, indications suggest. The lob is the shot of choice. There it is. Didn't quite get the distance on it.
Ondrejczyk, who has been a gold medalist in the pairs event of BC4 at the World Championship and at the Paralympic Games in Rio. Yet to land a World or Paralympic Games gold as an individual, though he did achieve that only a couple of years ago in Seville at the European Championship. Definitely another test for La Pienne.
Yeah, tried to push on there. And Javier Alvarez just going to retrieve the red ball, which actually ran into one of the cameramen.
Hazard of the job. A blue of Lapien remains closest. Fifth ball then for Ondrejczyk. He takes his time. Still more than 30 seconds for what will be his last ball.
Well, he went short with the first lob. He's gone long with this one. This is very much means that the Thai athlete is going to be in control of this end. That's not to say that he's going to win it, but he's certainly going to have last ball, and the jack is at the moment quite free. That's the one he was looking for.
I still think that Lapien has sight of the jack, though, from his position. He has 3 balls remaining. This the first of those 3, his 4th overall.
Right. Tactics become clear here. He's going to try and smash that red ball out of the way. This requires a huge amount of accuracy. I think he's going to use that first one as a sighter. It wasn't too far away, actually. It wasn't too far away at all. But the thing here is, so probably a medium ball that's closest to the jack. So it does require power to dislodge it. But if he can dislodge it, he's probably going to be on for 2. Oh, rolls up. Safety. Still red closest, though. Trying a safer approach here. It'll probably be to do with the fact that he's only got soft or medium balls left. Rolls up again, hits the ball. Is that one closer? I am not sure. I think Ondrejczyk may well get this.
Yeah, in no doubt, the official Alvarez. So an early, slender advantage for the Slovakian in this gold medal final. Ondrejczyk leading by 1-0. And that's what we like about Boccia. It can change so dramatically, because at one stage it looked as though the Thai was in a really good position, maybe to score 2 or 3. But in the end, Ondrejczyk making the most of that end, and a missed opportunity for Lapien. A very different approach this time. And the placed shot to follow the placing of the jack.
Yeah, you're right. They're shorter in the court, and that's because Larpien's impairment means that longer throws are a little bit more difficult for him. He prefers to play in a shorter court. Well, is that touching the line? I think it is. And will be removed from play, but did its job, that ball. Got the jack free. You see the wheel power insignia on the back of Andrzejczyk's chair. IPC have got heavily involved in We the 15 at this Paralympic Games. Start of a 10-year, a decade-long campaign to raise the awareness and the opportunities for all people with an impairment of any kind.
His short game's not bad either.
Probably going to see a little bit of tit for tat here in terms of tactics.
It is simpler to displace, isn't it, than the longer range missiles that need to be sent down the court. A quicker end as well, with the finalists happier to take less time basically to make their plays. Landing just where he wanted it.
So last ball becomes the key factor in this one. Going for power and a smash, and has played that into the open, the jack. Now, who is closer? It looks like blue is just.
Yeah, I think so. Difficult to tell from the television camera angle, but if you look at that one, yeah.
Now, he's having a look at this. Is he going to play a push on it? Would be fairly reasonable to think he was, but that looks like it might be a soft ball, so quite difficult to move. So does he play a placement? Or
does he even try and knock the jack on?
Or, yeah, or lob, yeah. Play it over the top. Let's see. He's not made up his mind yet. He's repositioning. Got to make sure the wheels are not touching the lines. Looking for the lob, I think. Maybe right, pushing on the jack. He's just gone past it, but he is closer. So now it's difficult for Larpien to push the jack on because it's going to go closer to that red. Just all of a sudden, the tension's just crept up a tiny bit here.
This is a really close gold medal match. Larpien, who left Rio in 2016 with 2 bronze medals, 1 in the individual event and a bronze in the pairs competition. He knows he'll be leaving Tokyo in a better position regardless of what happens here, but obviously would love to say that he's a Paralympic gold medalist. Changing of the guards again. Red definitely a shade closer to the jack.
Yeah, advantage Slovakia.
That was the penultimate red ball for Ondrejčík. Now the 5th play for Larpien. Oh yes, he did what he wanted to.
It's 1 blue. Is it 2? Oh,
No, 1.
It's not quite, is it? It's not quite.
Very, very tight.
So will we get exactly the same tactic from Ondrejčík? Play exactly the same shot, just on the left of the jack rather than the right.
This is his final ball of the end. Samuel Ondrejčík. Oh.
What a shot that is. What a shot that is. A brilliant up and over. Well, sorry, roll on top it's called. The stack there. Absolutely played to perfection. Had to get the spin and the bounce and the distance from that jack absolutely spot on. So a bit of power going to be required, but alternative is just to go for that object ball sitting on top of the stack. Oh, is he going to be brave enough to try and replace it?
Well, it's tight enough to be that brave. Only the 1 in it. No, it didn't work, did it?
Didn't know. And it's called as 1 red at the moment. Yes, and you can see the blue is just a little tighter. Come to have a look. But that could not have worked out better for Samuel Ondrejčík. That last shot was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen a mounted effort successful in this session on day 8 of the Paralympic Games. Ondrejčík climbing into a 2-0 lead now, heading into the second part of this gold medal match, the 3rd end. Still very close, a lot can change, of course, but Ondrejčík will be very satisfied with how things have started in this final inside the magnificent Ariake Gymnastics Centre. Ondrejczyk to place the jack. And you feel he will try and go long again to further hurt his opponent. Indeed, he does so. Not as far as last time in the first end. First red ball for the Slovakian. One of the younger contenders in BC4, age 24.
Pretty handy. It looks like the he's nailed the distance. You want to have a little gap between yourself and the jack so that you can knock the ball on if possible. But it's also guarding the jack pretty well. Now, of course, Larpien is a little bit further to the right as compared to his opponent, so we'll be able to see more of the jack than his opponent, but not a bad effort. Goes for smash there, but failed.
Was he aiming to take the jack out there?
Probably trying to dislodge the red, just move the red out of the way.
Because it would suit him, wouldn't it, to have it repositioned?
Good point, good point. You'll have to ask him afterwards. We can only guess what these guys are intending to play. I think it's probably more likely that he was trying to knock the red free.
Second ball for Larpien.
Oh, I think maybe now. You're right. He's trying to jack out. The danger now is that he's already used 2 balls, so it's still advantage for Ondrejczyk.
Yeah, 3 to complete the mission is a little wasteful, I would say.
At this level, yes, I agree. But a placement shot rolling up there. But the jack, you can see, you look down towards the players through the balls. The jack is almost 100% visible to Ondrejczyk. That is not bad. Again, a bit of distance from the jack, but that's not a bad thing because you can knock that ball on.
The advantage here for Ondrejczyk is, of course, his prowess, long range-wise. Interestingly, he was quite far away from the line when he opted to play that red in, and again as well. You can't quite see it at the moment from the camera angle.
Oh, what a shot that is.
That is a thing of beauty. He is right up close to the jack with that, his third ball of the third end. How will Larpien respond?
Looks like he's going for a placement, maybe with a ricochet. No, lobs it up, rolls it in. Oh, I think that's just a little shy, but only just. And this has come down, I think, as you've alluded to, the distance game playing in favour of the Slovakian.
Still a handy shot, though, ahead of the final end to keep the damage potentially somewhat limited.
Knocks on. Still red closest. So now what does Ondrejčić do here?
Because he doesn't want to dislodge that crucial red, does he, with whatever he does choose to go for. That's a big no.
Yeah, agreed. But is he going to roll on top again?
Well, he can certainly pull it off.
He could roll on top here. It's not going to do anything to his red ball. That will remain closer. If he can hit the blue ball next to the red and roll on top of that, it will automatically put him right next to the jack with a second ball, and that would be 2 points, and that will be very damaging for Larpien.
Yeah, because he would be touching by virtue of the red lodged higher up off the court, and then the existing red would be the second, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
It is a fascinating sport, this boccia. Really good to have your company if you're watching for the first time.
Right. Used that as a sighter, as a softer ball. That's maybe blocked the way now. He's moved up in the player's box. Is that just to have a look, or is it repositioning? It's repositioning. If he can play the same shot as he did last time here, he's got a chance here of rolling on top here. Oh, he actually played a push on. He's trying to get a second ball through the push, but only gets the single point. But it's another point advantage.
He's quietly creeping through this gold medal match, Samuel Ondrejčić. That will certainly be enough if he keeps on doing what he's doing at the moment, winning a point in each end. And both players will have their assistants collect their balls, as we have confirmation that it is 1 point in each end. So 3-0 at the moment. Ondrejčić leads against Larpien. On course, the Slovakian to claim the gold medal on day 8 of the Paralympic Games. A crucial final end, and unsurprisingly, characteristically, Lapien opting to go for the short game to aid his quest to turn this around and get the gold medal. Not quite alongside the jack. As Ondrejčík will respond. His to lose. There's no need for him to take any risks in this crucial final end. And he just wanted to separate the jack and the blue ball of Lapien. Perhaps now a placed shot to follow.
Not quite what he wanted. He's left that very open. So Lapien here could just throw a placement up between the red and the jack. That will make things a little tricky for a Slovakian. So, how much of that jack can Ondrejčík see here? Probably enough. Now, does he try and smash this out of court? Probably be the winning shot if he does.
You called it. He has opted to play out the jack. And that could be decisive with his advantage. 3 points to nothing. The jack repositioned in territory which is even for both players. Perhaps even more suited to Ondrejčík. Very well placed fourth ball from the Slovakian. Up close to the jack. And a fist pump to celebrate. He knows he is on course for this gold medal.
Yeah, he sure does. It's going to be extremely tricky now for Honchuk Lapien to get three, and he's made it, well, impossible. Tried to smash the pair of balls in the penalty area, and that's gone out. Still a silver medal though at the Paralympic Games. He won't give up, but I wonder if we're going to see Samuel Ondrejczyk even return to the playing court here.
Lapien only extending the gap between the jack and the red ball ever so slightly with his fourth play. Ball number 5 from the Thai who won the bronze medal in Rio 5 years ago. He is still furthest away from the jack. And the smile of Ondrejczyk says it all. He is on the verge of something great. And there we have it. It is still the case that we'll have just one more play from Ondrejczyk at the very least. So he is back.
Good to see him come out and shoot these final balls here. This moment of glory.
And there it is, a history maker. Once again, he won his country's first ever individual medal at the Paralympic Games in Boccia in Brazil. And now he has landed a first ever individual gold for Slovakia. Samuel Ondrejczyk upgraded in Tokyo from the silver to the gold. Jubilation for him and his assistant and those inside the Ariaki Gymnastics Center of a Slovakian persuasion. 4-0. A very professional display. A point each in every end for Ondrejczyk. Taking it 4-0 and winning gold. Silver for Lapien. Welcome back inside the Ariake Gymnastics Centre for the individual mixed BC4 victory ceremony. Bronze, silver and gold to be given out after the final session in this category of Boccia. And it's been a really lively, entertaining day 8 at the venue for Boccia. Still one of the new sports at the Paralympic Games, relatively speaking.
Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony for the Boccia mixed individual BC4.
皆様、ただいまよりボッチャ混合個人 BC4 の表彰式を行います。
So in a few moments' time, we will see Samuel Ondrejczyk, Pornchok, Lapien, and Lung Yukwing. The para-athletes from Slovakia, Thailand, and Hong Kong, China. A proud moment for the three, who are the ones who make it until the end. So one of the Paralympic Committee officials to present the medals, alongside one of the Vice Director Generals from Tokyo 2020, Yamamoto Takashi. We will, of course, be hearing the national anthem too of these nations. Lung Yukwing first up, the 36-year-old, a bronze medal winner for Hong Kong, China in the BC4 Boccia mixed individual event. He knows what it's like to win a Paralympic medal. The gold medalist in Rio in the individual category. He also took gold in Athens in 2004. So he has really been able to stay the distance over time. Also a world champion too, individually and as a pair. Thailand's Pornchok Lapien next to get the silver medal. He won the bronze in Rio, so it's a move up to silver. And you can tell the emotion on his part as he's recognized here in the Japanese capital. Only the second silver medal on the world stage in his career. And last but not least, the very professional Samuel Ondrejczyk. A close but convincing 4 points to 0 win in the end to take the gold medal at Tokyo 2020, defeating Pornchok Lapien in the decider. And how good does that look? Gold around his neck. The first time he has won gold as an individual. An upgrade for him as well from Rio. He took silver on that occasion. He's now the main man. And the first individual gold for him, either at the Paralympic Games or the World Championship. He previously has won a gold in pairs at both the Paralympic Games and the World Championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of Slovakia.
And now we break for the anthem of the champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Paralympic medalists.
皆様、パラリンピックメダリストです。
So gold for Ondrejczyk and the silver medal for Lapien. Leung, meanwhile, the victor on the bronze front. And that completes the victory ceremony for Boccia individual mixed BC4. We still have BC 1, 2 and 3 to be completed as the top 3 athletes pose for a photograph. Slightly further away from one another than they would be in more normal times. And nice to see their assistants get up there as well on the podium very briefly at the end. And they are getting a bit closer, but obviously with their face masks on. Ondrejczyk managing to come through his gold medal final with Lapien without conceding a point. Lapien and Ondrejczyk were, before the Paralympic Games, 6th and 7th in the world. That will change. And Leung just keeps on going, aged 36, and once more able to walk away with a medal from the Paralympic Games.
We hope you enjoyed the Boccia and thank you for your participation and support of Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. The Tokyo 2020 organizing committee would like to thank all volunteers for their time and dedication toward making Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games a success.
皆様、本日のボッチャをお楽しみいただけましたでしょうか。皆様の東京2020パラリンピックへのご参加とご支援に感謝を申し上げます。東京オリンピック・パラリンピック競技大会組織委員会は東京2020パラリンピックの成功のためにご協力をいただきましたボランティアの皆様にお礼を申し上げます。誠にありがとうございました。
So after the first session on day 8 of Boccia at the Paralympic Games, we have had a gold medal for Samuel Ondrejčík of Slovakia, coming through a really tense and tight gold medal final, with Pornchok Lapien of Thailand winning by 4 points to nothing. And also in the individual mixed BC4 category, there was a bronze medal for the veteran of the sport, Leung Yuk Wing of Hong Kong, China. And we also saw a match 2 in this session on court number 4 between Scott McCowan and Daniel Michel of Australia in BC3, taken 6-1 by the Aussie.